Living through the COVID-19 pandemic is a lot like being stuck in a Tom Hanks movie.
I wish I were big.
You might look in the mirror one morning and discover how you've seemingly aged overnight. You might be rekindling an old friendship with your adoring pet. Or if you live alone, you might be missing the company of others.
Wilson! Wilson!
But if you're among the few who've taken to the skies, perhaps on business or on your way to lend a helping hand, then you'll notice something strange when you get to the airport. Kind of like you have the whole place to yourself. The unprecedented spread of COVID-19 has meant that people around the world are staying grounded. According to some estimates, airlines have seen a 95% drop in traveler numbers. That means that currently the number of people traveling by air throughout the globe on any given day is barely enough to take up a half a football field. That's left the world's airports feeling like ghost towns. No lines for check-in or security, closed restaurants and shops, empty terminals, airplanes parked indefinitely on the tarmac. So when can travelers expect things to go back to normal? The short answer, unfortunately, is that it could be a while, maybe years, before air travel gets back up to speed. The problem is that the coronavirus that causes COVID-19 continues to spread. Just take a look at the number of confirmed new cases of COVID-19 across time. While some places are no longer seeing the meteoric rise in new cases they were in mid-March, many are still facing an upward trajectory. Unfortunately, we're not as close to zero as we want to be. That makes any travel, not just air travel, risky. But while airlines are hurting to the tune of at least $1 billion in losses in some cases, they're not closing up shop. They're barely surviving, but they are surviving, and they're trying to keep the few travelers who brave the skies as safe as possible. Some have invested in heavy-duty cleaning artillery, the kind normally reserved for scrubbing hospitals. Others are enlisting the help of artificial intelligence by planning to use machine learning to optimize seating under the space restrictions enforced by social distancing. However, most air cabins are not as spacious as we might want. Strapped for resources as they are, airlines are currently running fewer numbers of flights on their usual routes. That's funneling passengers who would normally be on separate flights into the same close quarters. And that's problematic, because even sitting a few seats apart from a fellow traveler can put you at risk of infection. Not even a full row is enough, not even two. That's according to Dr. Yan Chen, a professor of mechanical engineering at Purdue University. For over a decade, he and his team have used computer simulations to understand how air circulates in enclosed spaces, including air cabins. One animation shows how a burst of droplets released by a coughing passenger spreads throughout an aircraft.
During this animation, you see the particles could be transferred to 3 rows before this coughing person and 3 rows behind the coughing person. So, which means in the flight, if you sit next to someone who is coughing, then definitely you might breathe in the droplet coughed out by this person.
In fact, if you were to share a 4-hour flight with an infected person, Dr. Chen's team estimates that you'd have a 20% chance of also becoming infected, and that could be underestimating the true risk. Because when the researchers determined these numbers, they were looking at SARS, a respiratory disease also caused by a coronavirus, but a much less infectious one. Dr. Chen also points out that there's another part of the cabin that airlines should be worried about: the onboard toilet. That's right. Studies have shown that the coronavirus that causes COVID-19, much like the SARS coronavirus, can be transmitted through fecal matter. That's a lesson apartment tenants in Hong Kong learned the hard way back in 2003. During the SARS epidemic, when water was shut down to fix a broken pipe, bathroom exhaust fans sucked contaminated droplets from the sewage pipe and carried them into other apartments through open windows. Airplane giant Boeing, says Dr. Chen, is prototyping one fix for that: ultraviolet lighting that zaps toilets for a few seconds after use. While that could be one way of managing infection, Dr. Chen offers a simpler but effective solution. Bathroom goers should close the lid when they flush. And that's what it all could come down to. Nearing anything resembling normalcy when it comes to flying will most likely hinge on protective measures practiced by travelers themselves, keeping distance, hand washing, and most importantly, wearing a mask might be travelers' best bet for staying safe. That goes for non-travelers as well. It's going to be a while before the skies fill up again. Getting there will undoubtedly take patience and perseverance, but we'll get there.